Yeah. Oh, they don't even hear a word I say when I rap. I'll burn a flag, rubbing to make America great again. It's that David and Goliath, I'ma slay my own dragons. Dragging out my words like drag racing a jag. With the Freemason, I'm relaying the facts. 808s add to a 4-4 clap, that's basic math. My past a winding road, but I can find my home. Like Dorothy in some slippers standing on a tippy toes. You pushing yellow bricks, we in a fellowship of souls. Where anyone could die like a Game of Thrones episode. Yo, you never know until it's too late. Me, I flip a coin with heads on either side of it like I'm Two-Face. Living up out of a suitcase, my closet seems scarier now. Too many skeletons in it, it's like a burial ground. Y'all need a Ouija board whenever we record. Y'all get the heebie-jeebies, say that boy's a heathen and he needs the Lord. But I know God up on a first name basis. Still don't got no entourage to show me Vinny Chase love. It's still me, Major, connected to the universe. For the afterlife, I'm only here collecting souvenirs. So who's the weirdest boy you see? Me, you probably right, pretentious. What I say, yo mama not gon' like. Namaste, wearing moccasins. Assalamu alaikum, reading Alan Watts, singing like Shaka Khan with my chakra bright. A starving artist giving food for thought to feed your appetite. It's yin and yang, so what I'm saying is only half is right. Like, I've been told a lot of things before. I'm not sure if I can make my mind up. I've been beaten, bruised and sore. I'm still trying to hold my light up. Hold my light, hold my light up. Hold my light, hold my light up. Hold my light, hold my light up. All my life, God, I've been told a lot of things before. I'm not sure if I can make my mind up. I've been beaten, bruised and sore. I'm still trying to hold my light up. Hold my light, hold my light up. Hold my light, hold my light up. Hold my light, hold my light up. All my life, God.
What is going on? What's going on? Welcome back to another live stream here. If you are new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Making sure I didn't have my audio muted again like I did yesterday. Make sure you read this disclaimer. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. You're responsible for your own trading decisions. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Don't copy me. We will be looking at YM on the 5-minute chart. This is on TopstepX. I have 550K combines, daisy chained together. Got about $100 in each of them from a pre-market trade this morning. Traded the XFAs, ended up break even. One trade for break even. Was looking for a couple different moves out of this. My trade pre-market was over here. This one was about break even as well. I moved stop loss into profit. Got long as we came down here, really right as I was waking up. Just that we were bouncing off of, or bouncing near this big resistance zone, support zone rather, coming off of this high back here. Tested a support right here. Looked like we were going to test this one as support. I took it long towards VWAP. Again, I usually don't trade pre-market, but if I have a setup that looks like that, really clean, easy way to structure risk. If we continue down to the downside like we were in pre-market, I'm out. But we did come up and tap VWAP, but not before taking me out at about $100 in profit. My trade on the XFAs this morning, break even as well. Break even. Daisy chained 3 of them together, and about $7 in profit across 3 of them again today. So pretty uneventful morning. Going to get a trade on today. That's my game plan. I've had a lot of no trade sessions. I appreciate you guys hopping on here. You want to see live trading. I want to get trades on. And I don't want to take dumbass trades for lack of a better term, but I'm going to get a trade on. I'll let you know if it's something that I probably wouldn't take if I wasn't going to get a trade on for sure, but I'm going to put one on for you guys here. 150Ks give me a little bit more room to work. Even on the mini contract on Dow, I can size pretty light. So looking at Bookmap, my favorite order flow tool over here to the outside. Nothing crazy on Bookmap. No big levels. We had some of those earlier today, but like we were looking at yesterday, coming around this time, we had some pretty major levels above and below price. Nothing crazy. We've just got this algorithmic liquidity tracking above and below that I really don't pay attention to. I am looking for things like this or like this. So we'll leave Bookmap over on the side and we'll take a look at what the market has for us. Pretty choppy, right? Here is our 9:30 a.m. Eastern open for NYSE. Throw a line on there for you guys. The 5-minute chart. You can even look at the 1 minute. Zoom out so VWAP gets cleaned back up. Pretty choppy, right? Really back and forth. The open pushed up, cracked above this little high over here. Obviously not overnight highs. You can see session change over here. We really just melted to the downside, got below prior day low. And we have really found some support here. Pulled back down to these lows, cracked just below, right? Just below. That's all we needed to do before the run up. We broke past, back and forth, really choppy here. Broke past VWAP on this one and have continued to the upside. This was a pretty nice wick down close to VWAP again. And looks like we're going to try to just creep higher on this. So I don't have a super duper strong bias on direction. If I zoom out, let's go to the 15-minute. If I zoom out on the 15-minute, you can kind of see where we're at overall, right? We've sold off. We've came off these highs. We had an opportunity to push higher here after pulling back. Had an opportunity to put this low in yesterday and then start to find some support, maybe creep back up. Really didn't do that. We've pulled all the way down to this next line in the sand that I was discussing yesterday, coming off of this high back here from September 27th. And we've kind of started to find a little bit of support here, right? Double bottom type of chart pattern. If you're a chart pattern guy or girl, got a little bit of that put in, and we're pushing higher on the day, right? Just put in session high at about 11:15 a.m. Here we are, 11:39 a.m. Eastern, pushing up towards this next level that I have marked and towards this edgeful gap. Let's talk about edgeful real quick. Yeah, I don't have a trade right now, guys. I don't have a breakout to the upside. I'm going to get one on with you. My first thought would be a short from up here. We start to come back towards VWAP. Maybe I'll look short as well. Long to this area, I like it, but where do I put a stop loss on this? You can go like that. I don't think that's a great invalidation point. Would have to be something like that, and I would really only be targeting somewhere up here. Wouldn't be able to capture even a 1-to-1. Wouldn't be able to make as much as I'm risking. So I'm going to hang out for a minute, but I'll throw a scalp trade on there if I have to. We'll get something on. That's my game plan. So, yeah, I want to see if we creep higher, come into this zone, maybe fill this gap. I'd be looking for a short somewhere up here. Yes, we look bullish on the day after some choppy back and forth. I'd be looking for some rotation back down in. Yeah, this just feels like slow-moving, choppy price action. Really back and forth bar coding below VWAP. Now that we've got up, as you can see, pretty dang back and forth. I don't think we're going to run for the hills. I don't think we're going to sell off and just absolutely dump. I don't think we're going to do too much of anything. Gun to my head, I'm long, a little bit deeper into this zone. After that, I'm short back down towards VWAP, maybe down towards these highs, just depending on what happens up here. Could kind of turn from here as well, though. We are really, here was a nice wick down. I would have liked to see this continue. So now that I'm looking at this, buyers are just, everybody's slow to the jump here. But this would have looked really nice if we had this big wick debt to the downside, quick pullback and move back up. Yeah, that was a nice wick to the downside. And then we really continued that momentum to the upside. But we're failing again. Failing to get above this high, kind of just chopping here. So I don't know that I think that we're going to come all the way up here and even fill this gap. We may not. We'll take a look at that stat in a minute. This gap is in relation to yesterday's closing price, the session changeover for YM. If we look at regular trading hours, you can see that gap, right? This is, let me get rid of this. This is where Edgeful has the gap marked out at 4 p.m. Right here. This would be the gap. Right, you can see the gap between regular trading hours. That's how I swapped this chart. Regular trading hours versus extended trading hours. This would be the gap that is typically filled more often than not. While I'm talking about it, we can look at it. had an ES one pulled up because I wanted to talk about that, but let's get to all right. This is Edgeful. We are looking at the gap fill report, right? Just like what we're looking at right here. Here is the price marked off. This is the close of NYSE session from yesterday. This would be the open here on this bar at 9:30 a.m. You can see the gap that's left physically because I changed the chart over to regular trading hours. And this is the report. More often than not, gaps are getting filled, right? This is just a general report that's showing during NYSE session. More often than not, almost 70% of the time, gaps are getting filled over the last 6 months of data. You can break this down by weekday, by size. If you look at size, you'll see really, really small gaps are almost always getting filled. Huge gaps are almost never getting filled, right? Stuff in between, as they get bigger, less likely to get filled. So, we're going to be watching this one. If you guys want to check that out, you can check out Edgeful for free. Link in the description. Link all over the place. I'll throw the link in the chat as well. And I'll say what's up to you guys. What's up? What's up? Quick 20-point short on YM. Very nice, man. What's going on, guys? What's going on? I'll pick out some good questions in the chat as I see them. Too many trolls on YouTube asking ridiculous questions, so I will ignore and block those dudes as they come. Really only one dude who seems to be in love with me. But that's a conversation for another day. Looking at Bookmap, still nothing really here to the upside or downside on price. Interesting, man. Interesting setup that we have. Kind of choppy back and forth. This is some nice movement, right? Finally here at 1045. Broke initial balance high to the upside. After breaking, no, there's our low right here from 10:30 a.m. Did it crack initial balance low? Yes, technically it did. Because here would have been the low, that line. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this has another leg to the upside in it. I don't know. Don't know that it does. This is feeling choppy, consolidating type of a movement. I really don't have a super clean setup until we're up here or until we're back down towards VWAP or down at the extreme with this type of price action and structure. I'm really not a fan of getting in really tightly to try to catch the trend to the upside on YM. I find it way too wicky, way too back and forth. It loves to trade above and below prior bar highs and lows, and I just feel you get stopped out too much. ES is a little bit better of an instrument, in my humble opinion, if you want to get in that way, jumping in, just in the direction of a small 1 minute, 5 minute trend. YM seems to take you out. It can be pretty frustrating to trade that way. But from the extremes, it's really, really sweet. And when we have price action like this, we are at an extreme now. And again, I said, gun to my head, I'd be looking long towards this zone. I don't know that we're going to get all the way up there. I could see us coming off this low right here, kind of coming into this area that was tested as resistance a handful of times, maybe a little bit higher. And I'm going to look for a short. I'm going to look for a short back down towards VWAP. I'm going to be counter to this afternoon trend that's formed. If it has to slowly trickle to the upside, I'm going to be in for a painful session hanging with you guys here. But I don't love it long because I don't have a good way to structure risk. A stop loss anywhere before VWAP and these lows down here I think is just silly, and that doesn't give me a good way to structure risk because I'm not going to be shooting for a huge break to the upside, 100-point move to the upside. But I can look short with a slightly tighter stop loss, maybe closer to the 60 to 80-point range, and be targeting a move back down towards VWAP, potentially breaking these lows, just coming back down into this big range that we've had for the day. So That's my game plan right now. Again, going to get a trade on with you guys because I've had way too many no trade sessions. And again, not going to get too zoomed in, not going to trade an asset just because it makes for a whole bunch of trades and high frequency of trading. But I'll put a trade on with you guys so we could talk about it, right? We could discuss the structure, the trade management, the risk management, all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and do this, man.
Order filled.
I'm going to throw one on right here. I'm going to run a wide stop loss to start. It's about 80 some odd, 90. Yeah, let's make that a little bit tighter. Let's run something like, well, let's move the chess piece around for right now. Yeah, I'm going to run this wide to start, really wide, right? If price came all the way back up here quickly, this is my, last ditch. I'm out at this zone, right? If we just crack to the upside right now. I really do like to structure my trades in that kind of stop loss is not going to be moved farther back. I have to be out at that level, but I've got an opportunity to move it down, right? Like even right now I could say, hey, you know what? Maybe we're going to react to the downside. And the new thesis based on this price action is that we're going to fall right here. We're going to continue lower. I usually don't like to get too tight on Dow, again, because it is back and forth. There's a lot of movement. But we're going to run a wide stop loss to start. Realistically, the close is going to be somewhere down around this VWAP line. That's what I'd be looking at on one contract. I'm going to run no take profit for right now. And if I look at that realistically, it's not a fantastic risk to reward, right? If I'm risking $400 to make $300, that's a not even a 1-to-1. But the idea here, guys, is outside of price just rocketing to the upside, if this just kind of chopped around, we found support down here before I close and then continue to the upside, I'd like to duck out before this $400 level, right? Maybe I cut it, somewhere up here, somewhere as we come into this zone, around $200 or $300. But you do have to be aware. If that's where your stop loss is, you don't know if someone's going to start talking, an FOMC member is going to make a comment, and we're absolutely just going to rip to the upside. Well, then you're out for $400, maybe even a little bit more for slippage. With slippage. But we're short for right now. Trade on. Not a bad one, right? Wicked above this a couple times. We had an opportunity to really continue higher after this wick to the downside. We're failing to get higher. We're starting to look a little bit heavy on the 5-minute here. Maybe we make a move back down towards VWAP. Maybe not. Maybe we're just going to trend to the upside. And long is the play. But we'll put trades on. We'll get trades on here with you guys. So again, initial target that I'd be looking at here. If we got some really nice structure, something that would allow me to scale into this, I might look to add and move a stop loss even tighter. Again, on Dow, I'm a little bit cautious of getting too tight just because there are these crazy back and forth movements, and I like to be not taken out before the trade is really just invalidated. But I'd be looking at down towards this VWAP line. It's a pretty strong line in the sand on Dow. It loves to come back and forth and trade across it, trade over it, find support, find resistance there. If we made it all the way back down here, I would look for it to crack these lows, but it depends on what happens, right? We could have a whole bunch of different structure. We can blast to the upside. We could blast to the downside. We can trend to the upside and then start to fall. We can trend to the downside, and then maybe before we get there, start to find some support. And maybe I say, hey, you know what? I want to get back out at break even. I manage my trades discretionary. I'm flexible with my trade management. I allow myself to add in, to scale out. I usually don't like to run a fixed take profit unless it's early in the morning and I'm going for a quick bounce play. The really hard rules that I try not to break are to move your stop loss farther away. That one, for me, is pretty tough. You see me when I put a trade on, I usually drag out a stop loss. If one is set, sometimes I have the risk parameters on there where it automatically puts a stop loss and a take profit. I'll move it around back and forth, but once I set it, I really don't like to go farther away with it. It just opens the door for a really dangerous type of trading, right? Although more, data prints, there can be cases to be made to move your stop loss farther away to take on more risk. I really prefer to try to not do that. I will move it into profit or just reduce risk or bring it to break even. Once I do that, I don't like to move it back. I like to try to think of it like a chess piece or a checkers piece. Once you take your hand off it and you put it where it's supposed to be, don't give yourself the option to move it. Dangerous road to go down. Again, with take profit in volatile, quick moving markets, I think it is important to have a limit order set. If you have an idea where you want to be out for sure and you think the trade's going to play out quickly, set that limit order, set the take profit, and let that trade either play out to take profit or to stop loss. For something like this, I want to see what happens. Again, I don't know that I would hold it all the way to $400 in loss. I don't know that I would cut it as we start to come down or at the VWAP line. I like to have an idea of initial risk to reward, but I'm not a purist when it comes to that because I manage my trades, right? I can move into drawdown and I could take it off at $100. And, on another day I close at $100 of profit. I think being discretionary with your trade management, if you have the skill set to do it, if you have the experience and the confidence to do it, it's beneficial. It's advantageous. But really clear double-edged sword. You will not be right all the time. You will close trades in profit only to see them run. You will close trades for a small loss only to see them rip back in the direction of your trade. But if over time you notice that when you do close your trades for a smaller loss than a full stop out, you are more often right. It continues to your full stop out level rather than all the way to the take profit. And if you scale out of trades in profit, you find out that you're doing so in a beneficial way for your P&L in the long run, go ahead and do that. But you have to accept you'll be wrong, and you have to accept that it is traditionally harder on your psychology and your mentality. It is harder to accept that you could have just left the trade alone. But you have a plan, you apply some consistency to your trading, you decide how you want to go about that, and you stick to that. And if you're wrong, you're wrong. Your system will be wrong sometimes, but the more feedback that you're allowing yourself to have, I believe the harder it is on your psychology and your mindset. So, important to note that. What's up? What's up, JR, man, from the group? Welcome, dude. Welcome. Short from up here on Dow. Again, said I would get a trade on with you guys. This isn't the most beautiful setup that I've ever seen in my life, but I want to be able to talk about my trading, just like I am right here, right now. So that's worth the $400 risk in these combines. Again, looking short towards VWAP. Buyers had a chance to run this thing higher. I think if we do have a nice leg up, it could happen pretty violently. It could be a slow trickle. I would really look for some momentum to the downside happening pretty quickly here. The longer we stay up here, another push to the upside won't look so great for this trade. I'd like to see buyers fail to take this thing higher after getting back above this high from the session, finding some resistance here at this area, and a rotation back down into the trading range of the day, right? The area of high volume for the day, down around this VWAP line, maybe coming all the way back down, cracking these lows. That's what I'm looking at. Can we push higher? Absolutely, man. We've got some bullish structure here. We did have this double bottom kind of deal put in. If we zoom out, you might say, hey, I think a retracement to the upside is very, very likely. I'm going to go with rotation back down into the range. Trading from the extreme, clean way to structure risk, right? Stop loss at a really pretty clear validation point. If we continue all the way to the upside, I'm wrong. We were not going to continue down from here. We absolutely just continued the push to the upside, and it has ended up being a nice bullish afternoon. Maybe we come up here and sell off, but you can't. For me and the move that I'm looking for, I'm not going to run a ridiculously wide stop loss. This is very wide as it is. Again, wide to start, right? Because maybe we say, hey, you know what? We don't like what the trade's doing, and we're just going to cut it. Small loss, small win, break even. That's the way that that's the flexibility that I allow myself with my trading. Again, in the morning, I'll just grain of salt that one more time. In the morning, when I'm trading these very, very quick movements, maybe a sweep below session low right as the market is opening up and I'm looking for a quick move back to VWAP, I typically will have a fixed take profit and stop loss, and I won't touch it because the move's going to play out so damn quickly. My input is almost always just going to make things worse. And if I'm going to get stopped out, I'm going to get stopped out pretty quickly. If take profit's going to hit, it's going to hit pretty quickly. I'm really not going to be actively managing the trade and scaling in and out or anything like that. But appreciate you guys being on here. Got a little short going on Dow. I'm going to throw some links in the chat for the things that I was talking about earlier. That is the link for Edgeful. You can try Edgeful out for free. I love that they do that. Bookmap, you do have to pay for. But it's a heavy discount, man. And if you want to hop in the Discord, where I trade live like this every day, along with answer questions and give you my analysis, my charts, talk about everything that goes into trading, along with an awesome community of traders. You can hop in here, man. You can hop right in there. Appreciate you guys being on. Thank you for being here. It's been fun running these a little bit earlier in the morning. And again, man, I'm going to get some trades on. I'm going to talk about them as I see fit. If I had to grade this setup, I wouldn't say amazing, right? I'm hopping right on and getting a trade on. I'd like to be up a little bit higher, looking for a short back down. I wouldn't have to run as wide of a stop loss, and I'd have a much better risk to reward. But we're in with one mini on some 150K accounts that I am looking at trading here with you guys. That's the game plan. Get much more aggressive. Much more aggressive. Feel free, hop in the free Discord. You can read through some of my messages on my trading, what I've been talking about in XFAs and combines. Let's see, man. Let's see if sellers can step in and bring this thing lower. Again, I'm going to look for a close somewhere down around VWAP if we get down there. If I held that long, I do think a push below would be pretty sweet. Don't want to go stop loss to break even though this showed me $150 in profit. I don't think that would be an ideal place for invalidation. At very best, it would be right above the highs. But I'm going to give this thing room to breathe for now. We might continue this trend to the upside, right? And, there's a comment that's almost always made on my trades that I take live like this, where I let something move in profit like this and don't immediately take it off at a 1/4 risk to reward, or, well before the maybe the area that I'd be looking for a close down here, $300-400 in profit. It's don't let your winners turn into losers. Don't let winning trades turn into losing trades. Yes, that's valid, guys. I understand that. My comment there is, if you move stop loss to break even immediately on every trade, you smother a lot of good trades that need breathing room. Your entry is not always a clean invalidation point. You can choke up on your trades a little bit if that's in your plan, but for the most part, when I review my data, my journal, I note that if I move stop loss to break even really quickly, like before even a half, to one from the initial risk, or halfway to the profit target, I'm almost always stopped out at break even. And some of the trades move farther into loss, and you save yourself a full stop out. But plenty of them come back to jerk around at break even, only to continue just dumping in the direction of your trade. So, I look to move stuff to break even when it makes sense to me, based on the context of that situation. If this continues lower, we get some really aggressive selling that comes in. That looked like it was going to be decent right there. Maybe I say stop loss to break even, because I think we're much more likely to just continue down to my target. And if we continued all the way back up to my entry point, that is an invalidation. Now I think we're likely to go higher. I don't think we're likely to just jerk around near entry and then continue lower. But for now, I'm going to hold on to this one. Again, look to actively manage it when it makes sense. Would love to see us start to break through this kind of a trendy looking area. Yeah, it's really down below these lows, man. There's not like a clean trend line or anything that I'd be looking at on this stuff. Just down around these lows. Quick short back down. Maybe this thing dumps for the day. Maybe you say, hey, man, if you're going to hold that long, you should be holding all the way through the lows. I think there's more potential that if we do come back down here, maybe it does just mess around and kind of drift higher for the afternoon. But easy target is down around that VWAP line on Dow. So we'll see. We'll see what we get. If it has to come back on me and I got to take a loss, so be it, man. That's trading. You are flipping a coin when it comes to the way that you should be looking at risk management. Not risk management, the sample size of trades, right? If you operate with a 50% win rate and a 2-to-1 risk to reward, let's say, you don't know if that next trade is going to land heads or tails. And you don't know if you're going to get 3 or 4 heads in a row or 3 or 4 tails in a row, right? You just know that you should be flipping the coin. When your entry criteria is set and you have a good way to structure risk, you just know that your job is to put the trade on. If you actively manage your trades, and that's part of it, the way it is for me, then do your job there as well. But placing an unreasonable amount of pressure on the outcome of any one next trade is not, it doesn't make sense to do. It's not good trading. You understand the odds that you're working with. And again, maybe you're working with a 60% or 70% or higher win rate. That's fine. Know what those stats are for yourself, and understand that your job is not to win the next trade and the next trade after that. It's to trade well, to put good trades on for whatever that means to you, whatever your strategy, your approach is. So let's see what we can get, man. Let's see. Kind of off the high, but not as much as I'd like to see from sellers stepping in. I could still see support being found around here, right around these highs, and a continuation higher. I do like the shorts down towards VWAP. I think if sellers step in again, like it looked like we were trying to, we start to break down. We'll break down pretty quickly. I'll look to jump out in profit. Nothing crazy helped me out on Bookmap. Nothing really above or below price that is going to make sense for me to really weight with any importance right now. But I appreciate you guys being on here, man. Feel free, hit like, hit subscribe. You don't have to do anything. Free means free. So if you just want to chill out, no problem, man. Hop in the free Discord if you're not already. Yeah, this looks decent on Bookmap, man. Like, it looks like we're trying. Sellers are trying to take this thing lower. Let me not mess with this T right now. Yeah, we come lower on with some force on this, guys. I'm gonna look to clip it around VWAP. I think that's a pretty safe move. I don't want to get caught in one of these situations. And as it comes lower, if it comes lower, right? Because we could just turn and burn to the upside from here. If it comes lower, as it's coming down, I'll look to go stop loss to break even or down to an area that makes sense. Don't want to babysit it too much, but I'd love to see sellers step in and take this thing lower right now, man. What do we got for us today, Dow? What do we think? You going to catch this rotation? Or are we going to find support over here and start cracking back up? Doesn't look... Yeah, it doesn't look super strong, right? Not a whole lot of volume being traded to the downside. There was some on that kind of indecision candle before this. You can even see it on the traditional volume right here. I'd love to see some volume behind a move to the downside and some momentum. That would generate a pretty sweet move here. This is kind of slow moving. I do trade momentum as well. I read momentum within candlesticks. Ooh, that looks good on Bookmap. What are we doing? What do we think, Dow? Can we get a win for the boys? Ah, that's a lot of volume being traded and we're not moving lower. I don't love that. I don't love that. Quite a bit of volume traded there. Probably see it show up down here as well. Without lower prices, that's buyers holding it. Again, this is me reading the 5-minute candlestick chart, right? So there's you can create whatever storyline you want behind this stuff. There we go. Let's see a break and a continuation lower. And again, I'm going to look to let this thing maybe dump if it's going to, and just flatten all with this. Yeah, not really falling out though. Bottom not falling out on this. Interesting, man. Interesting, guys. We'll see. We'll stay patient. We'll manage the trade as we see fit. If we crack right back up like this, yeah, this is a tough one, guys. I don't know that I want to let it come much higher than these highs. Stop loss to break even makes it risk free. I think we're very likely to come back out and check this entry out. So I don't want to go, stop loss to break even right away. But I got to say, I don't like that reaction. I don't like how we were not able to accept some lower prices as we had quite a bit of volume traded. That's an indication that we got buyers that are still going to try to hold this thing up. Want to give it room just in case it wicks up here, but if we do come higher, crack back above these highs, this may be the case that we are just going to drift higher. But we've got a little bit of movement here, and I'm gonna try to hold on to this one for now. Would love to see a quick break back down around these 5-minute lows. This area that was tested multiple times kind of has support and resistance in between these big price movements, right down towards this VWAP area. We'll just have to wait and see what Dow's got in store for us today. But again, appreciate you guys being here, man. Short on Dow. Gonna see how this one plays. Not great, man. Not looking fantastic. Finding support. Finding support. Seller's not able to take this thing lower just yet. Again, I'm going to give this thing room to breathe. I'm going to let that winner, a couple $100 turn into a loser. If I have to, in pursuit of this move to the downside, I'd love to see this start to break. But buyers may jump right back in and take this thing higher. I did not like on Bookmap when we had quite a bit of volume traded, and we didn't get lower prices out of it. Right, we had sellers step in, try to take the things lower, and it was just volume traded. Buyers held it. Let's see what happens up around these highs. Again, got an opportunity to manage this trade. I do think if buyers are going to run this thing, run the show for the afternoon, this may really crack to the upside. But we're going to hold this trade, guys. That's my game plan. I'm going to hang on to this one. We start to just trickle higher. It gets just slow moving to the upside. Maybe we shave a couple $100 off the back end of a losing trade. But I'm going to leave this thing for right now. Had I moved stop loss to break even, would have been out for break even right now. I'm okay with looking at like a crack above these highs and then maybe a continuation to the downside. Just reading price action and structure. But so far, this is not looking amazing. That was looking good for a while to the downside as we looked like we were getting a little bit wiggly. Had some momentum. Didn't like the volume trade and prices just not being able to come down. But we'll see what we get for the afternoon, man. We will see. See how the boys are doing in, let's see, in Discord. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yep. Check through Discord after this one, guys. I'll respond to some of these. While we're waiting to see what we get from our good friend Dow. Again, I'm still okay with this one. I don't mind a wick above the highs, and if we got a nice reaction to the downside, I'd really like the case for this trade to move lower. If we just blast off from here, obviously, I'm dead wrong, and it's higher prices in store. We're going to come back up here, close the gap, and just move to the upside before moving lower. If we slowly trickle higher, I don't like that either. I think, obviously. I think that's buyers just stepping in on, fairly low volume, low volatility, and they're going to continue this thing higher. So I would like some movement out of this. There is another element here, which is time and momentum. As this stuff is taking a long time to play out and maybe moving against you or moving even, in profit for you, but you're not getting any kind of momentum or indication that the trade is going to move, in your favor. It's another indication to say maybe, you know what, I'm just going to clip this one. But for right now, I'm in it, man. Hanging on to it. Maybe you were in something similar, although this is not financial advice and you shouldn't be copying anything that I'm doing here because it's not a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. But maybe you found a similar trade and you said, you know what? I went stop loss to break even once we moved 36 ticks points in profit. That was enough for me and I'm out for break even. Maybe you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take something off here around $50 in drawdown because I just like to wait to see what happens up here and then maybe look for continuation lower. All of those are valid, right? Maybe you say, I'm adding in here because I really like the way this looks. It's giving me a better entry. It might be a little bit aggressive, but no wrong way to do it, right, guys? Just your way. So again, the two things I really wouldn't like to see, the one thing obviously is it moves up. Really wouldn't like to see it blast off from here. That wouldn't give me a chance to manage. Stop loss is just going to stay where it is and I'd be out for 400 or so bucks. A chop around and a continuation lower I'm okay with. Slowly drifting higher, I'd probably look to cut it. But we got volume traded up here, man. Can we turn and burn on this? Again, simple price action market structure, looking at the choppy day, looking at a simple rotation back down towards VWAP coming into the afternoon here rather than a continuation higher. I liked the way this one failed and this continuation to the downside started. I don't like the way this was bought right back up. But I'm okay giving it a chance here to see what happens. I still like the opportunity to the downside. Albeit not as much now that we did come back up and we're challenging these highs for a third time. Let's check out some other markets while we're hanging out. ES. Yeah, kind of similar. Kind of similar action. ES did come all the way down to VWAP and found a little bit of support there. And our friend NASDAQ. Ooh, NASDAQ's looking weaker. Is this in the right spot? Yeah, NASDAQ down at VWAP. That's an interesting spot for NASDAQ. Do buyers step in here after it's been held a couple times as support? Or are we going to break below that in NASDAQ? That's looking the weakest out of all of these, actually. And unfortunately, Dow is actually looking the strongest. Here's ES that pulled all the way back down to VWAP before finding some support. Dow, we really didn't get that. And we did get the big wick down on ES. Might have been news or something like that. NASDAQ, we really didn't see that. Yeah, we did 11.25, right about here. What did we have today? 10 a.m. Member speaking, so maybe that was someone talking. Let's hop back on our chart, and we're going to test the highs, man. Let's see what Dow's got for me today. Again, we got to take the L. We will take the L. That's part of trading, man. Yeah, kind of. I know I got my head turned watching Bookmap over on the side. I want to be able to react quickly over here and not overlay too much stuff on this actual trading screen. And would love to see sellers step in and try this thing. And now, I mean, I think a wick above is pretty likely before we turn from here. There's nothing crazy showing on Bookmap above price. testing this level now a couple times. We may get a pop to the upside on this. So I don't love that. But with NASDAQ looking weak, not trading the NASDAQ and ES chart, but with NASDAQ looking weak down around VWAP and ES looking even weaker, that might bode well for us. But again, I try not to pay too much attention to correlation between these instruments. I don't find it very helpful. I find I get false confidence. I end up trading, the NASDAQ chart on Dow instead of just trading Dow. And that's not really helpful for me. But we'll chill. We'll see. We're still in short. Showed us a little bit of profit. Showed us more profit than drawdown, actually. Moved about 36 points in profit before coming back up on us. But we'll see. If we come down, I'll tell you guys this as well. If we come down lower and we fail to get below this low and we are really starting to form structure that looks like this, try again, then we come pull one of these, that's going to look even worse for the trade. So I would like to see us come lower if we're going to come lower and get below this low. I don't know that I would let it come all the way back up on me a second time if we got that kind of that data that printed. For right now, I'm going to let it ride. I'm going to give the trade room to breathe. Let's see. Do we need to crack to the upside? Are we going to get a big push up? We got volume being traded and not continuing lower. Yeah, reading volume on this one, I don't love that. I really don't love that. I try not to weight any one thing too heavily. But watching volume on Bookmap by way of the volume bubbles and just how price is moving, I don't love that we are not continuing lower as volume's being traded. Yeah, my last ditch here is just a crack above these highs, then a continuation lower. We start to push this to the upside. This trade is not going to look great. But I'm going to stay in it because I still believe we can move lower. I like the risk structure. I like the opportunity. Is the trade going to be a winner or a loser? If I could tell you that, I'd be the richest man in the world. I'd be able to flip a coin and tell you it's going to land on heads every time. And I can't do that. Let's see what Dow's got for us, man. Let's see. Stay patient for now. 12 coming up on 12:30, 12:28. I got until about the 12:45, 1 o'clock time frame to wrap this trade up. I really wouldn't like to leave anything running. Yeah, nothing crazy on Bookmap, man. Still nothing. Don't think we're going to get too much that pops up above and below price, but I do watch for that. Retesting the highs here, just a quick crack above. So far, 27. We traded 28 there. Let's see what we get. Yeah, man, we got volume being traded. This is going to be interesting. Going to be interesting to watch this one play out. I'm actually looking forward to watching it play out one way or the other on Bookmap. Just quite a bit of volume being traded, not a massive amount, but it's interesting to watch volume to the downside be traded ever so slightly, and really price just kind of be indecisive and stick where it's at. Maybe we run highs. Mark this out for now. Entry somewhere over here. Let's look at 80 for now, 80 and 80. But we'll hang out in this short that is being a pain in the ass. Not really looking like we want to dump on this one. This is much more bullish structure than I'd like to see. Came up here, tested the highs a couple times, cracked above, and have really failed to continue lower. Interesting to see. I got Dow that I got ES and that I see looking weaker, and NASDAQ looking weaker down below VWAP on the side. Dow just showing strength, man. Hanging on. Again, I'll look to cut this one, maybe if I get a chance, but I got a feeling if we're going to continue this, it may be pretty violent. But for now, I'm staying in, man. Holding the trade. Hanging out. Again, looking to see maybe we get the wick above here. We get turn. Sellers coming back in, bringing this thing lower. But for right now, this looks like bullish structure to the upside. But if you're still on here, hanging out, watching me sit and draw down in this trade, feel free. Hit like, subscribe, help me out with YouTube, getting more views on here. You don't have to. Free means free. But if you like what you see, if you find this stuff valuable, feel free, man. Help me out. Hop in the free Discord. Live trading almost every day. Discounts, free stuff, analysis, charts posted every morning, all that fun stuff. Yeah, this one's looking ugly, man. Yeah, gonna hang on to it. In it now. That's it. See, someone in the chat says NQ testing VWAP. Let's see what that looks like. Broke below, pull it back up on it. That looks like a little bit more than testing it, unfortunately here. ES really found support multiple times at VWAP and has pushed off, although it was looking weaker. Made it all the way back down. And Dow kind of just in its own world, putting session highs in, continuing to drive higher. Gonna hang on to this one. Really wide stop loss to let this thing come all the way up here, test this area, maybe find some resistance, and look for the move back down into the range. But I don't know if we're going to come all the way up to close that gap before we turn back down. This next candle could be a killer. And I got my opportunity to clip it here, close to halfway to a stop loss. It's not a bad play. Sometimes you take yourself out of good trades. This one I'm really not loving, but I'm going to leave it on for right now. I don't hate it enough to take it off yet. Not hoping for it to turn around, not hoping that it lets me out of break even, but just giving it the room that that I feel that it may need to breathe before continuing. But this next candle may not give me an opportunity to do anything. I'd love to see it turn from right around here if we're going to, but it's looking pretty damn bullish. So we will take the L if we have to, guys. That's part of trading. And I'm happy to hop on here with you guys and show you what real trading looks like. The wins, the losses, the no trades, and everything in between, man. No magic, nothing crazy, no 90% win rate. Just finding good ways to structure risk, finding higher probability setups, if at all possible, and putting your trades on. Let's see what we get from here. Let's see, seller stepping back in. Is it just going to be the reaction and then we get a quick move back up to the upside, or do we actually have a chance to pull this thing back down lower? That's the question. That is the question, my friends. And I'm somewhat starting to run out of time here. 12:37, got about another 20 minutes or so. See what we can make happen in that time frame. Let's see, since we were talking about it, what is NASDAQ doing? What is S&P doing? Ooh. Yeah, this could go either way also, man. We might be finding some support before continuing to the upside on NASDAQ, although it is rejecting pretty nicely off the VWAP. S&P pretty damn choppy and back and forth, but that's not massive sellers stepping back in to bring that thing lower yet either. But we're gonna chill and see what we can get. See what we'll get out of Dow. See if it wants to stop me on this one, or if we can get sellers step back in and take this thing down. We could take the elevator down, the staircase up, and the elevator down. You guys know that saying, right? Yeah, man, sellers not able to grab this thing. My fear here is, and not fear in the traditional emotional sense, but the concern here is that we have to crack up here, fill this gap, get above this level, maybe mess around up here, and then we'll see a serious reaction. If we get up there, I'm really not looking short anymore at all. Hence the stop loss placement at that level, above that level. But we really need to see sellers step back in, this be a crack above these highs, and this trend really that's formed to break to the downside. So we'll see. It's not looking too lovely, though. Checking other markets. Wow, man, NASDAQ looking weak. NASDAQ looking really weak. I'm on the wrong chart, man. S&P looking choppy, but not really continuing that push to the upside, at least for right now. This still looks fairly bullish. Buyers have not let this thing come below VWAP, and we've just continued higher. Unfortunately, Dow is looking the strongest out of all these, at least for the time being. But I'm going to trade the chart that I'm on. I'm going to pay attention to the chart that I'm on. I just don't know if we need to wick up really aggressively to the upside based on all this buying pressure. There's nothing crazy on Bookmap that would show me that we need to do that. Outside of that Edgeful gap, which I'm trading against, and it's not working out too well for me. Shout out to Edgeful. I'm going to hang on to this one for a bit longer with you guys. We'll see if we can't get some sellers step in here, but this looks like much weaker on NASDAQ and ES. Kind of choppy on ES, and that Dow is just creeping higher. Ugly, Dow. Ugly. Yeah, this one don't look good, boys and girls. This looks like a stop out coming. Not following Dow and I'm not following Nasdaq and ES to the downside. Really just continuing to drive higher. Sellers trying to take this thing lower, volume being traded, but price not just not coming down. So again, I'm in it now. Have my opportunity to close a break even after some profit. But like I talked about, give this thing room to breathe, come back up here, chop around, and now we've just had this grind to the upside. So I'm going to leave it on, at least for the time being, and see what we get up at this resistance area, this zone that I got marked out. Yeah, I'm going to leave this thing. That's my game plan. Always debating cutting it or adjusting. Again, opportunity to clip it here for $260 instead of the total of 400 for the a full 1R, almost at half an R. You can go for that if you see fit. For me, on this one, I'm just going to let this thing play. I'm going to give it room to breathe. I've got that inclination that we still can rotate back down. I don't know if we have to come back up and fill that gap and stop me out beforehand. Obviously, the closer we get to that, the longer that sellers cannot step in and take this thing lower, the less likely that this trade survives. But that's my game plan for now on this one, guys, just to hang on to it. So, again, I'm going to hang with you for, until about 1 o'clock. That's the game plan. If this thing's still on until 1 o'clock, I'll either clip it or I'll set a take profit and a stop loss, and I'll let you know if I manage it in Discord. That'll be the game plan from there. But we talked about Edgeful. We talked about Bookmap. Let me know if you guys have any other trading questions. Feel free in Discord or in the chat if you're subscribed, because I got subscriber mode on. Let's see what the boys were doing, man. Yeah, we had some nice wins, man. Had some nice wins from the team today. Very nice. Somebody's nice trading setup. Again, hop in the free Discord if you're not already. Daily pivots. Interesting. Yeah, pivot points are interesting, man. I think it's I'm just looking at everybody else's tools they're using in Discord. Whatever tools you see fit, right? Whatever your preference is. If pivot points and trend lines speak to you, send it, man. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If it's Fibonacci and some other indicator, something like that, go for it, man. I think guys can make it work using a variety of different tools. Someone said chop day. Yeah, a little bit, man. A little bit. Ooh, that's a painful one. Got someone that got wicked out by like one or 2 points. Yeah, man, trading minis on Dow. A little bit more flexible on Dow. I'm also in the 150K combines here, but I'm trading minis on the XFAs as well. Yeah, man, not wrong. Giving a runner a chance to mess 100%. Alex, I'm going to talk to you if you're on here after I hop off, man. We're going to talk to that. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, got some discussion on trade management in Discord as well. Yeah, man, hop in there. How many people we got in here now? $12.95, almost 1,300 members. Guys sharing the good, the bad, wins, losses, making money in XFAs, blowing accounts, all the good stuff that comes along with trading. As I am sitting here in this painfully slow-moving short on Dow in drawdown. Yeah, I'm not liking this movement, guys. Not liking this movement. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and clip this thing right here, guys.
Order filled.
I'm going to cut that one just under $300 in drawdown. I don't like the movement on it. I don't like at all how I'm looking at levels starting to pop up above price on Bookmap. Right here and here. Here's what I'm looking at on Bookmap. I think we're very likely to go up here and test this level. So, going to realize that L ending up $190 down on the day in these XFAs. Part of the game, man. All part of the game. But that's what you get from me, right? I'll hop on here, take trades with you guys, show you wins, losses. Looking at this one, the postmortem, yeah, I had an opportunity to go stop loss to break even right here. But as we said, man, choking up on trades like that, I find that I'm stopped at break even often before continuing lower. You end up cutting yourself out of a lot of good trades and then realizing full stop losses. As we came up higher, again, was looking for maybe a wick above all of this, a test of this resistance area, and then a continuation lower. We failed to get that. We have no indication that sellers are stepping in. We are really just continuing this slow drift higher, and I don't want to leave an additional $100 of risk on. I'd rather just cap it right there, realize my L, and move on to the next trade. So that's going to conclude this session. Unfortunately, an L, but that's part of it, guys. Going to be getting more trades on here live with you in the afternoon. Live the rest of the week, 11:30. Hop in the free Discord. Live trading, analysis, charts, Q&A. You can hop in there right now and ask me questions after this. Appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you tomorrow. Live again on YouTube. Tomorrow, Power Hour for Top Step TV. That's the live for tomorrow. No YouTube at 11:30 tomorrow. Tomorrow is Power Hour on Top Step TV, 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be happy to see you guys there. If you come through, say what's up in the chat. Here's the edge full gap filling, and me would have getting stopped out right there. So saved myself $100. Not terrible trade management. Could have been better, but for this trade, I'm happy with that. So guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. Trade well and be easy.